Well, I can remember going with my father, just as a little guy, when the liquor store went, bottles blowing up, and all of the regular customers, they just could not get into this place because it was all barred windows. So everything got totally burnt up, which was pretty tough for some of them to experience.
The Parksville Fire Department got its beginning in the 1940s when the village received some equipment from the government to support air raid precautions. This program promoted blackout practices after the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
It was in the spring of '42, I guess. Japan entered the war, and then some fire equipment was brought in. The coordinator for the ARP, Air Raid Precaution, came down to Dad and said, "Here's what we got. Would you have space for it?" So then, with it, they were able to find an old truck. It had been a Chinaman's vegetable wagon, and it was quite a sturdy body on it. So the merchants got together and they bought it for $50. On Memorial Street, next door to the telephone office at the time, there was a barn. We called it the Old Hearst Barn. And there was room in there to put the fire truck. And in the meantime, they had gotten started on the Firehall, as it sits now.
The Firehall used to sit along the Island Highway, perched just above the community park. Following the war, the town's air raid siren was installed on top of the fire hall, and together with the switchboard operator, firemen were called out to action.
With the telephone office, once they knew, they'd go down across that switchboard and call you, and they knew everyone. So they start with, I guess, the strongest guy, and go on down and just leave a message, what's happening, can you go? And go to the next one.
In 1959, the firemen's wives and mothers united to form an auxiliary fundraising group to support the ongoing needs of the fire department. Fires within the communities were not the only threat to the district. In order to check the destruction by forest fires, the BC Forest Service built a 90-foot lookout tower atop Little Mountain in 1934.
With the Little Mountain, it became a lookout point for the forestry. And they had this tower anchored in with guy wires. And as kids, we'd go up there and then climb up into the lookout.
The start of the war in the Pacific in 1942 brought fears to the west coast of a Japanese invasion. 160 local men signed up for the Pacific Coast Militia Rangers, who participated in frequent drill exercises in the event they should be called upon to repel an invasion.
The idea being that the Rangers were pretty well all hunters, and they've hunted all over Vancouver Island. If a landing had been made, then the idea was that these fellows would be able to know where to go and where not to go, and that call on their knowledge of the lay of the land. That never did happen. However, it was prepared, and it worked out very good.